Hey, this is Brennan Russell with the Pacific Predators, known for hitting bombs when it matters most, and you're watching Fade the Mahoney.
Hey, welcome back to Fade the Mahoney. We're going to do a series recap. We all just watched the Predators beat the Eagles. Got it? We're joined by Brennan Russell, who had a pretty darn good game. Brennan, thanks for showing up.
Yeah, yeah, thanks for having me on.
We're going to talk just a little bit of gambling on the series first, and then we'll recap the series itself. Trevor, please tell the world why Brendan Russell is one of my favorite players in the whole league right now.
Uh, Probably because he hit a bomb off of Dallas Allen and it hit him over, sent the over going.
Mhm.
He did everything for you.
Yep, I had a good series. I bet on the Predators. I got a little plus money as an underdog, which seemed preposterous to me. I had the over, which when Brennan hit a grand slam in was that the first inning, Brennan?
Yeah, yeah, first inning, game one.
That was a good start for me. And then for the matchup for the ladder, I had Ryan Cratch. You had Dallas Allen. Allen didn't have his best stuff, so I swept those three. So it was a good series for me. But Trevor did win again the slate long fantasy draft, 3-0.
Sharp. I'm sharp when it comes to the slate longs,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. All right. So that's the gambling. Brennan, thanks for the homer, buddy.
Yeah,
Really started off well.
yeah, no, I'm
Um,
happy about it.
All right. So basically, you guys won 2 out of 3, which kept the Eagles from getting a bye. And you guys still stayed at the 3 seed. So you're on the road for the matchup that's coming up. So that's correct. That's right.
Yep, that's right.
Okay. I got all that. Trevor, on you, buddy. Ask away. What do you got?
I told my 8-year-old son Andrew that Brendan was going to be on the show, and I give him. He had such a good day at baseball today. I told him he could ask the first question. So his first question was, and we watched the series actually in between games for his 8U team. All the boys huddled around my little phone. Everybody was watching the series, so they love the bomb from Ross there. And so Andrew's question was, what was it like to hit that off of Dallas, and how did it feel for you?
It felt great, honestly, because clearly Dallas is probably one of the most versatile and dangerous pitchers this year. He didn't really let up a run probably until the Diamondbacks series. So it was far along in the season that no one could see him very well. And I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I just have just a built up sense of confidence against like really good named pitchers during the season. And then you get a pitcher kind of come in like Landon, and I don't see him very well. So, um, but hitting that off Dallas was a great feeling, particularly because it was a really great pitch too, and I kind of just really went for it. But I think it was also the first pitch of that at bat too that I went yard on, so felt really good. Just get back into the swing of things after, especially the poor series with against the Cobras. So starting off hot, getting the momentum going our way, felt great and had a good laugh about it with Dallas after.
Um, Specifically, when you mentioned Dallas, he struck you out, I think, in either the second or the third game, something super, super nasty.
What pitch from Dallas on a gliding slider, strike three.
And then you pointed the bat at him and said something. What did you say?
Oh gosh, I don't remember exactly, but Dallas and I always, like friendly banter all the time with each other. Me, him, and Blade always, always had that going kind of since last year when we went and did the Texas Rumble tournament. But I don't know. He's just very creative with his pitching arsenal, and when he gave me one that I really wasn't expecting, uh, just gave him some lip and some laugh afterwards, and it's all like super friendly with us. So I don't really remember exactly what I said.
Okay. So it's friendly with them, but not necessarily with the guys from the Cobras. Is that correct?
More or less.
All right. Yes. Yes. Trevor, do you remember the pitch I'm talking about? Do you remember what it was?
I don't remember. It was
I think it
hard.
was.
Honestly, this was the toughest series for me to watch because we were watching it in between the games with 12 kids crowded around me. So normally Andrew and I watched it on Fridays on the TV in the living room, but we had baseball all weekend. So
I'm pretty sure it was a like high kind of sliding riser that hit like top right zone. Um, Something I really wasn't expecting him to throw. So it was probably just something, you know, that I was giving him like, come on, you can't give me one like that and let me get a walk or whatever. So yeah.
Kyle's reaction on the call made it sound like it was not something anybody had ever seen before, and definitely something you weren't expecting.
Yeah, no, not from Dallas really. I mean, all of his risers are right on the ground pretty much, and they're barely bouncing up hitting the bottom post. So when he gave me a high riser, it was not something I was anticipating.
You got one ready, Trevor?
I did want to shout Brendan out here because it seems like all the MLW guys come to us from a dark room, and Brendan's got a very nice lit background. Like the last, who do we have on last? It was in the complete. Oh, it's Caden. Caden was like in the complete darkness. They're all in the darkness, and Brendan's out. I like that. Just gonna shout that out.
For the preview that we're going to do later this week for Preds Wildcats, I'm pretty sure we're going to have the King help preview it, and all of his videos again. That those look like hostage videos with poor lighting and on there. So yeah, good on you, Brendan. Can we talk about the whole eating farts thing?
Hey, you ever heard the rumor about Russ?
What's the rumor about Russ?
That he eats farts.
Dude, you're literally a 12-year-old.
See, that's just Blade. Like, I don't know if you've really spoken to the kid, but he really is just a child, like all the time. And I'm like, I don't know. That's just who he is. It's hard to explain, but it's just what he tries to do to get in your head, but it's just so like juvenile that it actually still works.
His delivery was pretty spectacular. I don't know if it was edited or whatever, but it was really, really funny. Yeah, we talked to Blade. Hey, everybody, go check out the archives. We talked to Blade before. I don't remember which series. Do you remember, Trevor?
No, I do. It was his first appearance. I think he was, and he had a baseball tournament that weekend. But I feel like he was maybe, we got to get him to open up a little bit more as he gets more experience with the interview process.
Yeah.
That was funny though. So you're gonna deny?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure, giving you the opportunity to deny the allegations.
Yeah, I would deny about 95% of the things that comes out of Blade's mouth.
All right, Trevor, you're up.
Yeah, so I guess just go a little bit into the thought process or the way you guys were feeling going into the series. Obviously, if you win 3 games, you get home field. But obviously, you also just want to kind of right the ship after that Cobra series. Is that kind of what you guys were thinking?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we weren't really worried about the playoffs considering we knew we were kind of, we kind of already had a berth at some degree. It was more so like the entire season we were thinking like, okay, Eagles are really good. Like it's gonna be a hard, end of season game to play. And we were thinking kind of the polar opposite for the Cobes. We're like, all right, this is, we were pretty confident. We were, mentally dialed in the beginning, and we just got like I guess, over competitive. If that makes sense. We were just taking it way too serious, and then we kind of realized like we don't play good ball when we're taking it too seriously and we're mad and we're not, playing as good as we should be, versus when we're playing against a team like the Eagles and it's, it's friendly for the most part. And we just like, let's just have fun. Let's go into it and just do what we do and see if we can win, see if we can't like go from there. And usually when we're having fun, we're winning. So that's kind of a story or a lesson that we're teaching ourselves, and then also, making sure to take into account when we're going into the postseason.
If we focus on the Eagles for just a second, Trevor, I think I'm correct. Dallas Allen won the batting title. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
If they want to do anything going forward, they can't bat 5, right? They just.
That's what we said in the preview, right? When we were talking to Chris, he said the same thing. Like they got to figure something out because it's so hard, and especially in the playoffs, you got to bat 3, 4 at most. And I think you go with the 3 that Chris mentioned. Dallas, Daniel, and Zach, I think, and then maybe if Zach's not hitting, you bring in Landon. I think that's the best way to go about it for the playoffs. Do you agree with that, Brennan?
Yeah, I would say that's a fair assessment. I mean, yeah, it's hard to say. Like, I mean, even with the limited amount of at bats you get in a game or in a series, even when you're batting 5 and you're still batting close to 400, like that's very impressive because you don't see it as often. Versus when I feel like you get at least 1, maybe 2 at bats every inning. You get to see the pitcher a little bit better. You get to feel for how the ball's moving that day. So especially when it comes to crunch time, it's better being able to see the ball a lot more. So I think that's a fair assessment to maybe bat 3, maybe 4. But I mean, what's not broke, don't fix it. Really, I mean, they seem to have been doing really well this season and all batting very well, like all over mid 200s. So it's a really tough call on Dan Schultz's end. So I don't know. It's tough for me to say.
I wanted to ask about Landon. You'd never seen him pitch before, I assume, right?
No, never.
It didn't appear that anybody had any prayer. It was his release or whatever. He's so tall and lanky. Just
Mhm.
it looked impossible to hit.
It wasn't like he was throwing like incredibly, lateral pitches or they were moving and dragging a bunch. It was really just they had a really late break. So his sliders, which they're good sliders, but it's not like anything we haven't seen before. It just broke very late. It didn't have a long swooping kind of thing that you could tee up on. It was coming right at you in the last second. It kind of just cut in just enough. So it was difficult. We didn't know what arm. You don't have any film on the guy to see what he throws. So uh, it was a little shocking for us at first.
Trevor, you can't imagine he'll actually pitch anything in the playoffs, right?
Seems pretty unlikely. I mean, when you have Dallas and Dan, it seems pretty unlikely that they throw him in there. But I mean, you never know. I guess if both of their stuff's not working, you never know. But it seems unlikely to me. It seems like more likely that he becomes down the road pretty good trade bait. I mean, that's the way that I would look at it. It's hard though. You never know what's going to happen with if as we've talked before with like expansion things like that. Like he's the type of guy, along with a bunch of other guys in the league, who could easily be like kind of captain material going forward, especially if he can pitch like that. That's somebody who would want to get out from underneath the great pitchers that they have there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret here
Sure,
quick. Is
Please.
in the beginning of the year before the draft this past season, I was trying to convince Warda to trade for Dallas Allen. I really was. I was like, listen, I think Dallas is gonna have. I think he's gonna be great this year. Like his pitching's phenomenal. He's just a really good wiffle ball player. And I'm like, we should trade for him. And inevitably, it just didn't go on and happen. I talked to Dan probably halfway through the season, maybe by the All-Star break, and I was saying, man, I was trying to get Dallas on our squad, and he's like, wasn't gonna happen. Like I wasn't gonna let him go. And so yeah, I was thinking about it, but yeah, no, I mean, glad the Eagles are actually, making some noise again. It's good to see them out there. They got a good following. So
You and Trevor are on the same page then in our season preview episode where we went over all the gambling numbers. Trevor was very high on Dallas Allen and recommended some bets on Cy Young and even MVP, if I remember correctly. Does that sound right?
That is true. There was other things that I did in the preview that weren't so great. Speaking of the Predators, I mean, a lot of people were down the Predators in the offseason, myself included. So we had we had Ryan on, we've had Alec on. They both kind of talked about what your guys' mindset was going in the offseason. Did you have that same approach as those guys with just putting in work and really kind of trying to prove yourself that you guys had what it took?
yeah, I mean, I wasn't so upset about the standings because I know that anything could really happen all the time, and I know that the trajectory, we didn't have a bad season last year per se. Like we still went, I think we went 7-8 last year, or 8-7, maybe, I don't know, one of the two. Um, like we didn't have a bad season last year. It was rather we just, you know, you're not going to win when you put up goose eggs. So if we were able to put up 3 runs, we have a lot better chance of winning. So it was more so just like stop swinging at stupid strike or stupid pitches. Like don't help the pitcher out as that often. But it was yeah. I mean, it was practicing, getting the bats going, and just making sure we were having fun. Really. So that was it for me personally. I don't think I took it as seriously in the off season as Warda might have. I mean, he gets pretty riled up about it.
It is super helpful when all three batters in the lineup can hit home runs.
Yeah.
Super helpful.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun that way too.
Well, it's actually exactly what we said before in the series preview, right, Mike? We said whoever the extra pieces, obviously Ryan's going to do his thing, and how Alec and Brennan performed would dictate their outcome. That's the way it goes. That you have that second or third guy that can hit a big home run. It's the game changer in MLW. That's all you need. One big hit from one of those guys, and you're gonna have success.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the idiot who said that. I thought it was pretty clear that the Predators had the better hitters, and I was basically shot down. But that's all right. I won my bets. I won my bets. Trevor, what else? You got any other questions?
I guess Brennan, if you can go a little bit into the mindset going into the playoffs, you're facing the Wildcats. Obviously, they have looked very good. What is your thought process going in against Kyle and Nick, and as far as what you guys want to bring to the plate?
Yeah, so I mean, we really just want to bring the energy. To be honest, it's you know our play will dictate how our energy happens. But if we come into the day, who cares if we strike out? Who cares if we do this? If we screw up an infield play that easily could have been an out, whatever. Like there's the next one. So it's really just being as loud and energetic and happy as we can be usually helps us against the Cats because when they get down on themselves, like they get down on themselves like pretty hard, and it kind of turns into what we did against the Copes. It's more of like, if we can bring the energy, the games usually tend to go in our favor against them. But at the same time, at any point in time, Kyle and Sailor can change the momentum. So, I think we're just gonna try and have fun. Really just trying to have fun and just play wiffle ball. Get it out there. That's kind of the mentality going forward.
All right, I got two things. One, do you have anything you'd like to say to Sawyer Bean while you're being recorded?
I will say I did start the whole thing pretty much. I was talking to Baron and I was like I'm gonna try and make him cry. Like I'm gonna definitely try and get in his head a bit. And we started out okay, like but pregame I was jawing a little bit. It was fine, and then just like, man, it sucks when the opponent backs it up like that. I mean, it sucks because he played so freaking well.
Yeah.
And like, there's nothing you can do about that. Like, I can't. Like, he just shut me up. I can't talk more than that. I mean, kudos to him for it. But I mean, he's a good player. He puts the bat on the ball really well. Like, I was very, very shocked. I was very shocked that Drew didn't play him all year, particularly.
Well,
But
we've covered this a few times. Drew isn't a very good manager. So
yeah, he's had his ups and downs, but you know, Baron's a great player. Like I don't hate the Cobras. It's just more like when it comes to like playing, our play styles just like don't mesh very well. And there's a lot of like competitors, a lot of athletes out there. So it just gets very like tense in that sense. Um I will say it's just like with Sawyer being like, it's fine to talk and like, you know, play your game, and that's fine. Like everyone talks to an extent, but it was just, year one. I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk as much as he does for being a rookie in the league. I mean, over my 7, 8 year career, I think the maybe the only other person to do that would have been like Jack Agner in a funny way. But so I don't know. That's just something that got under my skin originally and made me want to say like, I'm gonna try and get in his head like I would try and get in Drew's head. And when you play well, it doesn't really matter what you say. So
Nothing against Jackson or anybody else with the Wildcats. Very personally, I'm very hopeful you guys play again.
I was thinking the same exact thing, honestly. I mean, it's so great from an entertainment standpoint to have that villain presence of the Cobras, and then to have you guys. It's kind of like you get that. It's almost like the good guys versus bad guys type thing, and you're not like in this household. We personally root for the Cobras, so I'm going to be very excited to see if that's the matchup. That would be awesome. And I obviously I like the Wildcats, so I like all the teams, but we root for the Cobras in the house right now. So it'll be fun.
I mean, they're playing well. I mean, they're hard. They're hard to. If I was a fan, I could see myself maybe going in that direction. Like if I wasn't actually a player, just because I kind of like that, that mentality. I get it. But yeah, no, it like, and obviously, I'm not leading off to anything or spoiling whatnot. So I mean, it would definitely be a great setup for the playoffs and for viewership and making sure people see what they want to see. So it would be cool. I definitely we want to make it to that point in time. So yeah, the Wildcats comes first though. That's all that matters.
Yeah. My other question was logistics for playoffs, but I'll save that when we do the preview for your next series. I won't bog down. We're gonna do. You have anything left, Trevor?
No, I don't think so.
We're gonna do real quick gambling with Brennan because he's over the age of 21. But before we get there, reminder everybody: go buy some jerseys. I have a Ryan Kratz jersey here. I have an Alec Warda here. Brennan, do you have a jersey on the site?
I do, and I've only sold 2.
It's gonna be 3 now. You make an appearance on this show, you get your jersey bought by Mike Jojo. That's how it works.
Yeah, this guy.
You're gonna have the whole Preds collection. It makes sense. You're the #1 Preds fan. You should have the whole Preds collection.
Before I realized how cool you guys were, and I figured I'd have to bribe you all to show up on the show, I said publicly, anybody who comes on the show who has a jersey, I'll gladly order it. So now I have almost all the jerseys, including a King Curdy Moxie jersey.
There we go.
Which I had to take out a second mortgage on my home to get, but I've got it.
Wife is leaving him after he buys the Brennan jersey.
Oh man.
Yeah, no. Why do you have 3 of them?
I've only sold. I think there's only been 2 Russell jerseys sold, and I met one of them at the Toledo game that we had.
That seems ridiculous. That you only sold 2 jerseys. I feel like that seems ridiculous. We need to get this man to sell some jerseys here.
I know.
Yeah. Don't buy Warda. He doesn't need your help, everybody. Buy a Russell jersey.
I'm starving over here.
Good Lord.
I'll tell you what, if you play like you do in the first couple of series every season, then you're gonna start selling some jerseys.
I know. I don't know what it is. I really don't. It's like I come in super rusty. Like I feel like, oh man, I'm gonna totally blow it today. And I just literally the last 2 years, it was first pitch, both times leading off that I hit a home run. I'm like, why can't I do that every time? I'd be great at wiffle ball if I could hit the ball like that all day. So
maybe your sales are being hurt by the nasty fart eating rumors that are circling around the internet. But we squashed that here. Brennan, can we do real quick some real quick gambling before we say goodbye? Everybody, the name of our show is Fade the Mahoney. It is a sports betting term, which basically means go against whatever we tell you to bet on. We talked to Chris Cheatham last week. He was positive the Broncos were going to win and win by multiple touchdowns against the Colts. And the Colts won the game outright, let alone cover. So we're going to ask
that one. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, I made 3 figures on that, thanks to Mr. Cheatham and his confidence. We're going to do the Monday night game. Brennan, real quick, the Raiders are at the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are favored by 7 points. Who would you bet on and why?
Favored by 7. Is it at Kansas City?
It is. Yep.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs all day. It's they're deep. That the question is, do they cover by 7? I think they do. I think they get you know, further ahead pretty quick. I think they'll strike pretty fast. Raiders offense is good, but their defense won't. I don't think their defense will keep them in the game against the Chiefs.
That's some solid analysis right there. I hope.
You know what I just heard, Mike?
Uh,
Bet the first half under.
mhm.
Take the Raiders in the points.
All right.
That's what I heard.
We run a pretty decent size picks contest here at Fade the Mahoney, and the way it is set up right now, Trevor, if the Chiefs cover tomorrow, I win. So it's over $1,000 for me.
Oh
And
man.
Brennan just picked them, so
Yeah, that's not good.
might have to hedge a little bit.
You need to you need to hedge so you have money to buy the jerseys.
I would be confident, but you might as well just do some player props at that rate.
Oh, you got one? Give us one. One player prop.
Well, I don't know what the
Okay.
the levels are right now, but
Mahomes over, right? Mahomes over.
I don't know if I put Mahomes over. I would be. Oh man, that's tough. I would. I don't know who I would do, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know enough about the lines, but
I've got
if you want
one.
that, you could do it. You could do a Devontae Adams.
Over under 76.5. This is how we'll close off the show. 76.5 Devontae Adams.
Wow, I'm probably gonna say under.
Ooh,
I
did
could
not
imagine
see that coming.
I could imagine getting close to that, but I don't know if he'll go over.
I did not see that coming. All right, that's our recap show for Predators Eagles. Brennan, that was fantastic. Thanks for stopping by. We'll be back in a few days, probably with King Curdy to preview your guys' playoff game against the Wildcats. So make sure you get a lot of rest. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, man.
All right. Good
Appreciate
gambling,
it.
everybody.